Hello, everybody. Welcome back to From Religion to Woohoo. This is your host, Angie. And I am jumping on to do a part 2 to my Flipping the Tables episode because I can't stop thinking about it. Anyways, so I have to completely admit to you that every time I start a podcast, when I say hello, I always want to be like, what's up, bitches? Not gonna lie, that's what I want to say. But I'm not going to. For at this moment, who knows what happens in the future? I might just get real bold. Anyways, So, introducing myself, because I always forget to do that. My name is Angie, and I am a meditation and mindfulness coach, Reiki practitioner, and sound healer. And I also have a book out called Leaf Lessons When Trauma and Religion Collide, The Process of Spiritual Awakening and Healing. And my website should be attached to any episode, so you can always jump on there and see. And the book is on Amazon right now. I'm trying to get with Barnes and Noble and all these places to get it out there, but I don't know. Like I said in my last podcast, or one of them, this is just a lot of work. So I am having to just direct people to that. Oh, and exciting news. I got a book signing set up. I'm so excited. I was hoping to do it at Barnes & Noble, but because that's just being a pain in my butt right now, I contacted a local coffee shop and got a time set up for me to go over and do some book signings. I'm so freaking excited. So I will be doing that. What day did we decide? I think it's, what month is this? This is July. Okay. It's going to be August 19th from 5 to 7. And it's going to be at the local coffee shop here in Topeka, Kansas, called Milk and Honey. And I'm super excited. I have met the owner once for sure. And I know she's just a really awesome woman. So I think it will be good. And maybe this will just open up some more opportunities. And I forgot to tell you guys, I also was reached out to by a woman in a town a city, not a town, about an hour from us, and in Kansas City. And there is going to be a big convention going on there in September, at the end of September. And she had read my book, and she reached out and asked me to be a speaker at it. So I will be talking about my book and how to heal from religious trauma and all that stuff. So I'm super excited about all these opportunities. I love public speaking. I'm the weirdo that loves to be in front of a crowd and teach. So I know people freak. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't freak out about it, because I do, for a moment. And then whenever I freak out, I have to pee a ton. It's I have to pee so freaking much. I'll go pee and then I'll be okay, I'm done. And then literally I walk out of the bathroom. I'm oh my God, I have to go again. So that's my nervous tick, is having to pee. And then eventually I get out there and I'm totally fine. But, so all these exciting things happening. And then my 6-week healing course is about to be launched as well. So if you want to jump into that, check it out on my website. I think I did get that up today, if I remember right. So getting to the flipping tables. If you listen to my last podcast, you kind of got an understanding of what the insights were that I was getting about Jesus flipping the tables in the temple. And if you haven't listened, I encourage you to go back and listen to that one, because I'm not going to talk about it in that way at all during this podcast. What I am going to talk about in this episode is the tables in our life, which I ended that podcast kind of saying something about it. And then as I've moved forward, that has continued to come up in my mind. And so I think I'm just going to go ahead and just go for it. So one of the things that can help manifest healing in your life is allowing yourself to go inward, to flip a few tables in your mind and in your body. And it is not easy to do. I have been doing inner child work for about 1.5 years now. And when I very first started doing inner child work, it was really difficult because what happens sometimes is things come up that you don't remember, like in the now, and then all of a sudden you have a memory pop up. And I'm really lucky to have found a therapist that does hypnotism. So she does hypnotherapy, where she will actually hypnotize me, and I will go back in time to something in my early childhood and like connect with that and understand why I am the way I am now. So I'm going to get real personal in this episode. So I'm going to warn you, there might be some trigger points for you, but I know that this is just part of the healing process, and I want to encourage you to not be afraid to do the work. Some of this I am not healed from yet. I am getting there. I am moving forward. I have healed quite a bit of it, but a lot of what I'm going to share, I'm still working on with my therapist. When I go in to do the work with her, I actually have physical reactions in my body and start having flashbacks. And so hopefully I don't have that while I'm talking to you, but I just want to share this because I feel like being vulnerable will help other people to feel empowered to step into their healing and to stop ignoring the things that are hidden under the tables. So when we start flipping these tables over in our lives and looking underneath it, we start to see things that we have hidden or has been hidden in our energy or in our mind. And what happens when you go through trauma is your body shuts down and you disassociate. And that basically takes you out of the moment. It's like a fog. And what is really interesting as I have moved through this process of healing is before I met my current therapist, I did not have a clue that I was disassociating. And she pointed it out to me one day, and it just clicked. Like, I had this, like, it was like a aha moment, and I could look back through my life at all the times I completely disassociated, either in my behavior or the way I communicated. Like, there are just, like, something would trigger me, and I would just completely either flip out or shut down. Like, it just is, I mean, it's evident that I've had this all my life. And so, but when you go through disassociation, your mind just completely shuts out. Like, will purposely shut out that event. And to protect you, basically, because you literally feel like you're going to die when you go through it. And, but as I learned more about this in myself, it's so interesting because I would be in a therapy session and it was almost like I was sitting there and a fog, like a literal fog, came over me. My entire being shifted in energy. Like, I felt it happen, and like she could see it in me. Like, all of a sudden, like, I just went into this association, and I got dizzy, my eyes got blurry, my mind quit working, my body felt heavy. Like, it was just like literal shut down mode. And it felt like an actual fog. Like, like when you look outside and it's like really foggy out, like that kind of a fog just came over me. And thankfully it has not happened recently, but I have had some triggers where my body and my mind reacted like a child, like almost childlike. And that's because I was going into some memories of some sexual abuse in my early childhood. And anyone that has been sexually abused or had any kind of sexual abuse in their life will fully understand the need to completely shut down. I know for sure also that there is a huge freeze response in sexual abuse victims, because when you go into that disassociation, your body freezes. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you right this second. Like, I just felt a fog come over me, so I can tell that my body is reacting to what I'm talking about. And I'm going to pull through, and I'm going to use all the healing and guidance that I've gotten in therapy and in my own work to make it through this episode, because I really feel like it's important to share this. And it just keeps coming to me, so I'm going to do it. So I, was sexually molested several times in my childhood, and I never told anybody. I told somebody one time, and it did not turn out good when I told them. And so I quit talking about it. And I held that in my body for years. I also am a rape victim. When I was 17, I experienced a rape. And I write about this stuff in my book. So I encourage you to get my book and read through it just to kind of understand a little bit more of I did write details about my rape in my book, and it was just a really horrific experience for me. And because of these things that I experienced, I developed behaviors and mindsets in my body and in behaviors that caused me to really struggle. Not only did I struggle with these things because of sexual abuse, I also had neglect in my life. I also had mental abuse, and I also had physical abuse. I had a very mean stepdad growing up that would yell, that would cause bodily harm to us. He would beat us. He would call us names. We literally had to walk on tippy toes all the time. Like, I remember, I don't even know how old I was. I know I was quite young. My brother and I have a little brother, he's 2 years younger than me. We were playing, this is back, it had to be in like the 90s or something, because we were playing Nintendo. Like the first Nintendo that ever came out, like Mario Brothers or something. And we were laughing hysterically about something, like just having a freaking ball. Like, it was so fun. I just remember, like, we were just laughing. And the only reason I remember we were laughing was because the next moments were complete hell. My stepdad came and began to beat us, and he actually threw me across the room because we were laughing too loud. And I ended up hurting my neck pretty badly and having to be in a neck brace for a while. And I was in an elementary school in like a very young age. And so it was kind of embarrassing. And I wasn't really able to tell anybody, I have this neck injury because my stepdad beat me up, there was no way to share that. And plus back then in the 80s and early 90s and even, all the 90s, there wasn't like a lot of awareness of child abuse, and there wasn't like, you didn't hear as much about like mental health and stuff like that back then. Or if you did hear about it, they didn't really, at least my experience, they didn't dig into like why a child would be acting a certain way or what was going on in the home. They just kind of assumed there was something wrong with the kid, which was my case. And so as I have grown older and I started to heal, I've had to dig underneath all these layers and behaviors and mindsets and the way I view the world, flip a few tables in order to heal. Because you really, truly cannot heal unless you do this. You can stay on the surface, you can put Band-Aids on, you can try to do all of it, but to actually do really deep healing, you really do have to kind of go into these parts of your life that are painful. I do also want to say, however, that if you are not ready to do the work, absolutely do not do it, because it will probably cause more problems than help. Because I know for sure at many points in my life, I was not ready to do the work. So when you feel your intuition or your spirit or whatever you want to call it pushing you into this, or you start feeling an urge to, heal and be who you were meant to be, allow yourself to go into this, and please don't do it on your own. Find somebody to help you. I encourage you to find like a really solid therapist that has done their own healing. Because that, when you find those people, they are super, they're like treasures. They're just freaking amazing people. So I think that one of the hardest things that we will ever do in our lives is to dig underneath and find all the dusty cobwebs underneath the table and flip it over and start to clean it out. Another thing that we need to do as far as flipping tables is to understand that at times we actually have to look in the mirror and see our behaviors and actions and what we're doing that's not aligned with love. And this could be stemming from possible traumas in your life, or it could just be because you're an asshole. I'm just gonna say that. So if you're struggling with relationships, if you are not feeling your best, if you feel like you're in and out of the same issues over and over, you're manifesting the same issues, it's time to take a step back and look and be like, what is it that I am doing to create this? Because of the law of attraction, what you send out, you receive. And it doesn't even, the unfortunate part is in your unhealed part, you are attracting. It sucks because some of it is not your fault, but it is your decision to heal. Nobody's going to do that for you, period. You can ask for help, yes, but nobody's going to do the healing work for you. That is on you. So it could be that because of traumas or whatever you've been through your life, you act the way you do, manifesting behaviors and relationships in your life, or you just are a jerk. It could be both. And, one of the things I think about is there was a girl that I've known since I was a child. She recently got divorced, and I happen to know her ex-husband because of working in the mental health field. I will not share too much about that, but he was not a very nice man. He was actually quite a bit of an asshole, kind of a narcissistic. And she divorced him, and then I saw some things that she shared online about, leaving a narcissist and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, go you. And then I have this other friend that had recently got divorced in the last few years. And her husband seemed to be quite similar. And what I ended up seeing, and it just happened last night, was that this woman that had left her narcissistic husband is now dating this man who my friend actually had just left. And as soon as I saw that, my stomach dropped because I could feel the energy of the attraction between them. I could literally feel that this woman was going right back into the same situation she left, and this man was doing the exact same thing that he did to his ex. And the energy between it, even though everybody else probably thought it was just freaking fantastic, I just felt a pit in my stomach that this is just going to manifest the exact same thing that she left and that why he was left. The exact same thing. So if you don't heal, if you don't do the work, you are going to continue to attract the same exact scenarios in your life over and over and over. It can happen in friendships too, people. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. I did this in friendships. Fully 100% admit. Because of my childhood wound of fear of abandonment, neglect, and all the abuse I went through, I had an absolute fear of losing friends. And so I would attach myself to them. And then I would just be waiting for the ball to drop, for them to quit being my friend. Just waiting. I just always knew, eventually they're just going to quit being my friend because it always happens. And I manifested that over and over in my life. And the last time it happened, I said, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm not doing it again. And I dug really deep in my healing because I was like, the common denominator here is me. And I have to admit that. And so I did it. I did the work. And because my mind still has those programs in it, there's going to be times that my body's going to want to go back into that. My mind's going to want to go back into that. But I'm going to have the awareness now of where it comes from. And I can work through that and set healthy boundaries and be okay with things. I mean, I think about my best friend now. She lives in California, and I haven't talked to her in 3 weeks or more. And I miss her. I think we're about due for a phone call. But I'm not panicking over it, in my past I would panic over these things, or I'd latch on, or I'd feel fear. And it was always interesting because the friendship didn't always start that way. It just developed over time because as I got closer to these people and I felt like they knew me better, I would fear them leaving. People I don't feel super attached to or close to, I'm just okay, whatever. I mean, it would be sad and hurt, but it was the people I had deep, intimate friendship with that I would freak out about. And so now in my healed self, in my healed mind, I recognize it when prior I did not, because I was able to flip that table over and see all of the hidden webs underneath it to clean it out. And I will continue to clean it out. Sometimes you have to keep flipping tables over and over and over until it is clear. And then you might get just a little bit of web or something once in a while, but it's not going to impact you like the whole freaking whatever is underneath there right now. So I know this episode may have been a little heavy. I feel heaviness in my body now, and I think I'm going to have to spend some time meditating to just release all this energy. And I encourage you to do the same if you felt any heaviness come on you while you listen to this, because I know that it could be triggering if you've gone through any of the things that I mentioned. But I think if you really allow yourself to do the work, you're going to feel amazing. I promise you, because I do. It's just amazing. I love feeling good. Even though I have moments where I don't, I really am I don't fucking care anymore. I do care, but I'm at that place where I'm I don't want no freaking drama in my life. Stay out of my life if you're going to bring drama. And I'm not going to put drama in your life either. So, if you want to, link arms with me and manifest good and love and kindness into the earth and sharing common interest and and even if we don't have like super common interests, but if we can respect each other and still like have an energy of love and kindness, I'm all about it. But I do not want drama in my life no more. My energy, I want it clean. I want it clean. I want it clean. So, okay. Well, I think I've already shared enough for tonight or today, whatever it is. And so I'm going to log off and wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are. And I send you all the universal love that there is. Namaste.